Alright, hi, my name is Greg. This is for KIN557 Fitness Testing and Exercise Prescription for Special Populations. We're going to be demonstrating the setup and execution very specific stretches that I chose to basically help flexibility and increase range of motion for our 60-year-old tennis playing client. So as mentioned in our textbook, for adults over the age of 65 that our client is a part of, a stretch routine consisting of 1 repetition, stretch held for 60 seconds, performed 5 times a week for each stretching joint may provide the best results. So I'm going to go over 3 different stretches targeting the trunk, the hips, and a shoulder. And we're going to talk about the key points and what to avoid and the duration of what to hold. Okay, so for our first stretch that we're going to go over is going to be targeting the trunk, specifically targeting flexion and extension, the muscles that have to do with your spine and your core and the backside. So we're going to be looking at a modified seated forward fold stretch. So we're going to have our client sit in a comfortable position on a chair, near the front of the chair. The back is going to go straight, and they're going to fold at the hips. As you're folding, you're going to hollow out the abdominals, tuck the chin into the chest, and breathe. And the full stretch should end up somewhere about here. And just to go over it one more time from a lateral position. So we're going to sit closer to the front of the seat, flat back, hollow out the abdominals as we lean over, tuck chin to chest, and that's going to be stretching out the lower back and parts of the trunk. Alright, so for our second stretch that we're going to cover is going to target the shoulder and flexibility and range of motion of the shoulder. We're going to be performing the crossbody shoulder reach stretch. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position closer to the back of our chair. You can do this seated or standing, but again, we're working with older populations, so I'd probably have them seated. Using your non-stretching arm, so we're stretching this shoulder. Using your non-stretching arm, you are going to lift the arm by the back of the elbow. The non-stretching arm, this arm, is going to remain in a neutral or an external, slightly externally rotated position. We don't want to go into an internal rotation. That would be bad for our shoulder. So we're going to stay in a neutral position. Using your non-stretching arm, you are going to flex and adduct the stretching arm, exert gentle pressure to stretch the shoulder, and make sure that your client is breathing. Full stretch, and then they're going to release after 60 seconds. Alright, so for our last stretch that we're going to be looking at, it's going to be targeting the hip region or the hip areas, the hip joints, looking to increase flexibility and range of motion. So I chose a modified version because we are working with an older adult. It's going to be the seated piriformis or piriformis stretch. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. Actually, you're going to be closer to the edge of the seat this time versus our first stretch. We're going to begin by gently lifting up one leg and placing it over on top of the thigh or on top of the knee of the other. Back is going to be straight, and we're going to slowly bend at the hips. Remember to hollow out the abdominals, make sure we're breathing, and if they're comfortable, they can tuck the chin into the chest and find a nice good stretch. After 60 seconds, slowly pick it back up, and with this one, we're going to switch legs so that we can stretch out the other hip on the other side.